Awesome. So, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Expand the Business Weekly call. I'm your host, Casey Eberhart. Super excited to be here. And today, I believe that what we are going to talk about is one of the most overlooked topics in all of business. And I hope when we are done with this, at the very least, you come away with a new thought or some way to think about your business in a little bit different. So if you're brand new to us, let me welcome you to Expand the Business Weekly. This is just a community of business owners that come together every week. You are more than welcome to invite friends, bring friends. You can always jump in at expandthebusinessweekly.com, which will give you a reminder every week. You can always just go directly to that site and come right into the call every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We would love to have you here. And we create this open forum, this open community, just in helping you make more money in your business, right? So you don't have to have your cameras on. We're super low key, we're super chill, but we are squarely focused on helping you make more money in your business, whatever that business is. So today, what I really think is worth having a conversation, and I will tell you that part of this conversation came from our own team discussions, in me asking our own team what we do. And really, we didn't have a good answer. And because we didn't have a good answer, it made me really go back and start to dig in and figure out and sort of recalibrate what we're doing here. And so really what today's conversation is about is how to never lose a customer. We work so hard to get customers in our business. We spend time, we spend money, we spend resources in order to bring a new customer on. But the conversation really is about, or should be about, with you and your team, or just you, or whatever, is once that customer is in the door, how do we actually keep them? So I know that there's some cliches around the term retention and all of that, but it is really, really worth having a conversation and some action to figure out this important piece of the entire business equation. So I wrote a few things down. I'm going to share my screen. They're not very fancy. And again, what I love about you guys being here is this is not about me. This is not about you. It's about really the community of you guys coming together. And I also love the fact that I don't have any contractual obligation to talk about stuff or to not talk about stuff. And for me, that's a really exciting thing because as we grow, we'll get to explore and talk about any topic that we see fit. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about, just ping Helen. She's awesome. If you see people that have pick in front of their names like Helen does, like Francesca does, that just means they're part of our Platinum Inner Circle. That's the business mastermind community that I run. It just indicates to me who's on the call that I can call out for being part of our Platinum Inner Circle. So thank you guys for showing up today. So let's jump right in. Let me share my screen here. Like I said, these are not fancy. These are not fancy things. But here we go. This is incredibly important for all of us to understand. And one of the things that I would recommend in when you're thinking about this is ask yourself how I respond to this as a customer of other people's businesses and what do I do in my own business? Okay? So, incredibly important to recognize and understand that for every month that you do not have any contact with a client or a prospect, you lose approximately 10% of your influence. Okay? Now, I have a personal story about this, and this is kind of one of the things that really triggered me about this. I am starting to be asked to speak in more live events, chambers of commerce, Rotary, Kiwanis, conventions, associations, those type of things, right? And so I decided here in Los Angeles to go to a 3-chamber mixer, okay, where I didn't know anybody. I was invited to go from a friend. We went, and there was a woman there that I've known for probably 20 years. And back in the day, all right, I sound like I'm 75 years old. Back in the day, 20 years ago, I was speaking at all of her events. I was really incorporated into the chamber. I had a lot of customers and clients coming out of that chamber. I was really an integrated part of that Chamber of Commerce, okay, out here in Los Angeles. Well, she wasn't part of the chamber mixer, but I ran into her after not talking to her for probably 10 years. Okay. No joke, probably not 10 years. We recently reconnected on Facebook, but I didn't know she was going to be there. She didn't know I was going to be there. Well, here's the interesting thing. In talking to her, I recognized that I did not do a good job of being in front of her over the past decade. Okay. And this is somebody who had the ability to put me in front of a lot of rooms. Okay. In fact, the chamber at one point was an actual customer of mine. Okay. I had no influence. I couldn't ask her to put me in front of people. She couldn't offer, like, we had to rebuild this, right? In your own business, recognize that customers and prospects, we need to be in front of them at least once a month. Now, again, let me use our Platinum Inner Circle members. We're in touch with them 3 times a month, minimum, right? We do 2 group coaching calls, we do a whole Saturday event. So even though what I'm talking about today is bigger picture, I'm going to ask you to get really granular about this, but this one just says for every month you don't have contact with someone, you lose approximately 10% of your influence. Okay? You don't talk to somebody for a year, you're pretty much toast. Okay? Next one. People in Platinum Inner Circles have seen me talk about this till I am literally, oh my gosh, I just thought of my first light cue. Literally blue in the face. See how I did that? I'm getting good at this. I'm getting good at my $13 TikTok shop purchase with my lightsaber back there. I'm just gonna call it my lit straw, right? So, groups in order of people to do business with you from an ease perspective, okay? Your current customers are always the easiest people for you to serve and sell to. Always. They already know you. They already like you. They already trust you. They already know your process. They already know, do you say what you do you do what you say? Do you show up when you're supposed to? Do they get the product that they purchase? Like, these people could probably sell me 4 more of these things because I'm going to need 4 more of these little lightsabers, right? I don't even know where to find them anymore. Okay. So current customers, always, always, always the easiest group of people to sell and serve more to. The second group are past customers. These are people that may have left your business for whatever reason, right? No, oh, you know what is so funny? Oh, I think I totally missed one. I meant so I'm going to add one in here. I'm going to add one in here, and that is that the number one reason people leave any business for any reason is this: perceived indifference. Okay, doesn't mean that you don't care about them, but it means that their perception is that you don't care about them. If there's no touch point and there's no continued communication, they fall off, right? So I think of, like, my dad was a veterinarian, right? And one of the things that we had a problem with was our biggest competition was literally across the street and 1 block over. And my dad would sit there in his office with his binoculars and he would watch his patients go across the street, right? And so we literally started calling these people. My dad would, like, sit and make a list. Like, this is what my dad was doing, like making a list of people that were going next door. And we would call them. They were like, oh, well, we just came to you for puppy shots, but we didn't have a relationship with anybody at the vet clinic, right? We were losing people because we just didn't have any communication. My dad didn't believe in email. My dad didn't believe in text messaging. My dad didn't believe in gifts or greeting cards or thank you notes or postcards, or he didn't believe in any of that. He just thought, oh, I'll plot my vet clinic here. People need shots and surgeries. They'll spay and neuters and they'll bring their dogs in. That only works until you have a perception of indifference. Okay. Number one reason people leave, which, by the way, this past one is also the second easiest group to sell and serve to because they already know you. They already have been a part of your business community for whatever reason, and for whatever reason, they have fallen off. Okay. The hardest group of people to sell and serve are new people. They're the hardest. But if I look across, having worked with businesses for, the better part of 4 decades now, and I go in and I ask questions, one of the first things I find in almost every single business is this is completely reversed. They go new and then they just basically stop. So everybody's focused on advertising and interest media and social media, and they're all interested in getting new people. So they're spinning their wheels, time, energy, money, resources, spinning, 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 spinning to get new people. And we haven't even taken care of the two groups that are easier and faster to keep in the fold. Okay. So here's how we start to look at this, right? And this is something that I could ask you to put this in the chat, but I already know that many people, many people. So Giselle says, "What if you have a new business?" Great. Then this should actually be really easy. The new businesses are the easiest one to solve this problem for. And that's because right now, before you even have a customer, you should be talking about this conversation so that the system and process is in place before we ever have a customer or why our customer base is really small so that you don't have to go back and change a giant ship. Personally, I have a giant ship to change. I have a lot of customers in a lot of different buckets, and a lot of them are not being talked to. So for me, I have to really, really focus on changing an entire process and an entire ship. New businesses that don't have new customers, yeah, you're gonna have to spend some time getting new customers, but now's the time to put this process and this system in place. Because if you do it now and you get into the habit of it now, it will be a heck of a lot easier down the road. Okay? So, great question. So, first question we got to ask ourselves is what's a customer worth to our business? Okay? What's a customer worth to our business? Now, I've done a bunch of events called Networking Riches, and we do an exercise in that event where we have people literally write out what their lifetime value of a customer is, right? I would highly recommend that you know this number. And this number, for some of you, is going to get really, really scary, right? Because you're going to say it's worth $200,000, $300,000, $4 million. Maybe it's $50, whatever it is. But what is the lifetime value of a customer? Okay. So the first question I have people answer when we come up with their lifetime value of a customer is this. Are you having conversations that are still at that level? And is your business acting as if that is the value of that customer to the business? And in 99% of the cases, this is where people's mouths drop, right? Because they'll say, oh, my lifetime value of a customer is $100,000. And I say, are you acting as if? Are you promoting as if? Are you hanging out in rooms where these people hang out? All this stuff. Or are you having a $4 conversation? Can create a shift very quickly. So now I'm going to switch my fancy. Let's switch back to fancy. Oh, look at, oh, that's too fast. That's going to give me heartburn. Let's see, maybe I can slow it down. If you guys are just joining us, I had a whole conversation. This is my new TikTok shop purchase. There are two of them, but I only had time to put together one because it took me about an hour to figure out how to put the dang thing together. It's basically a lit straw. I think the remote probably costs more than that thing. But anyways, we'll be playing with that. So, lifetime value of a customer. Sorry, let's get back on track. Lifetime value of a customer. I need to make sure that you know what that number is. And now we need to act accordingly. Okay. And here's the actual how to do that more than anything is we need to budget something for retention. Budget something for retention. Now I'm going to give you a couple of examples here, but the reality is, again, most businesses, I would say 99% of the businesses that I talk to or that I work with, when I start asking, hey, what's our budget for retention? You know what most of them do? The donut. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm spending money on Facebook ads, or I'm spending money on postcard marketing, or I'm spending money on direct mail, or I'm spending money on video creation. I go, yeah, but once we have a customer, what are we spending What are we investing to make sure that that customer never leaves, right? So if your lifetime value of a customer is $100,000, my question to you is it easier to go find somebody with $100,000 in value to the business or keep somebody with $100,000 in value to the business? Okay. So what can you budget for retention? And then the simple equation to this is divide that by a month, but divide that number by a month and create a plan. That's it. Divide it by a month and create a plan. Now, let's come off of the share screen. I don't have any other big fancy slide here, but let's talk about this. So if the lifetime value of your customer is, and I'll just use a couple of different ideas here. Let's say you are like, you know what, we're running so thin, we don't have a single dollar that we can budget to retain a client. Okay, so let's just start at that end. I can't find any change in my couch. I can't sell some aluminum cans. I can't go promote an affiliate. Like I just have no money to retain a client. Okay, well, if you don't have money, then my highest suggestion I can give you is to spend some time. Okay, so let me give you an example. You've got $0, but we can spend an hour a week or half an hour a week. First thing I would do is I would literally go get your customers or go get your investors or go get your list of people that are adding value to your bottom line and put them in order on a spreadsheet with phone number, email, Facebook profile, LinkedIn profile, whatever it is that you can do, and start at the top. Start at the top. Can you email them? Can you text message them? Can you send them a video text message? Can you give them a shout out on social media? Can you message them on Facebook? Can you connect with them on WhatsApp? Right? Could you set up and do a call like this where you're getting in front of people, but hopefully you're adding enough value that they stick around, that someday somebody may raise their hand and go, hey, I want to work with you. Right? So, easy way, send an email. Even if you have to send a blanket email once a month that just says, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect or customer, I just wanted to reach out and say I appreciate you. Or, hey, I want to let you know of a sale we've got going on. Or, hey, I just wanted to follow up and see if we could connect on social media. Or, hey, let's go have coffee. Or, hey, let's go whatever. Okay? That's on this extreme end. Extreme end. But if the lifetime value of your customer, and I will say lifetime value of a customer, I would probably say the threshold, maybe keep it at like 1,000. First off, if you are in a business where the lifetime value of a customer is under $1,000, we should probably have a chit chat and see if there's ways that we can get you in a business of some kind that has a higher lifetime value of a customer. Okay, but that's a topic for a different story, a different session. So let's say you have let's say you have $1,000 as the lifetime value of a customer. Okay. One of the things I'd recommend is come up with a budget. And let's say your budget is 20 bucks. I'm willing to spend $20 a year to make sure that that customer doesn't leave. 20 bucks a year. Now I got to make a plan, right? I got to make a plan. Okay. And before I tell you how to make the plan, let me just remind you that if you are not on our reminders list for Expand the Business Weekly, head over to expandthebusinessweekly.com. On the right-hand side, you can put your name and email address in there, and we'll send you out a weekly reminder of our calls here. So, thank you. I don't know say. Thank you. It's funny. Helen's pinging me privately to keep me on track, and that reminds me. Oh, I got to go over here and basically promote our reminders. So, yeah, you got 20 bucks a year to spend. Now let's make a plan on what we're going to do. Maybe we're going to invest in some kind of direct mail piece, right? Now, if I had 20 bucks a year to do this, I would incorporate some free methodologies of keeping in front of people and some physical. Okay. So physical would be maybe you're going to send a greeting card. There are a couple of programs out there. I love using direct mail for this, but maybe there's a way for you to send a birthday card to your client. And if you want to keep this just current clients, cool. Prospects, maybe we keep it in free. But again, if I have a high value potential prospect and they're close to saying yes, or I would put them in the same category. Okay. So, um, if I had 20 bucks, maybe you send a birthday card and then maybe you get creative and you send a half birthday card and a box of brownies. Okay. Cost you around 20 bucks. And maybe that's it. And then maybe throughout the year, you send a text message, you send an email, you send a Facebook message, so on and so forth. Okay. Let's say you like are a real estate agent, for example, and you're like, oh my gosh, um, I send thank you gifts, and those thank you gifts run me about 500 bucks a year or 500 bucks per closing. And I want to make sure I stay in touch with these people that have bought or sold a place with me. So I'm going to budget 50 bucks a year or 20 bucks a year or 10 bucks a year on top of that. So I got 500 up front and 10 bucks a year. I would actually split that thank you gift up into $400 or $500 gifts throughout the year. So I would rather say to a real estate agent, say, give me a budget, 500 bucks. Okay, cool. Let's send $125 worth of gifts or whatever to that buyer or seller over the course of the next year. Okay. Now I've split it up into 4 segments. I'm now in front of them 4 more times. Gives me 4 more times because here's the thing, just I'm thinking with real estate agents in particular, these people just got a house. They've got the massive stress in their life. The last thing they're going to really do is think to thank you on social media or to pick up the phone and call thank you. They're moving spoons and forks and cleaning out attics and moving all their crap into a new place. But if you sent them out $125, maybe you send them a picnic basket from Crate and Barrel, or you send them the next time you send them a Starbucks card, and the next time you send them a t-shirt, and the next time you send them a print. My real estate agent that sold my mom and dad's house took a picture from a drone on the top of the place, from up above, framed it up and sent that, right? So whatever those things are, you can kind of split those up. Let's say it's 50 bucks, right? Maybe 50 bucks is, hey, we're going to send a text message to everybody. We're going to send an invite to some event we're going to do. It just needs to be something. And my highest recommendation that I can give you is to incorporate both physical and non-physical ways to keep in touch with people, right? Um, Many of you use some of the tools I use in the direct mail space. One of the tools, you can literally send a personalized coffee mug. I think with one of their accounts you get like five a year or 5 a month, right? Well, if they're giving you that as part of your account, like, use them, right? It's funny. I think Helen actually sent me this. It is Helen. Helen sent me this mug. It's really personalized with my name on it. It's got this cool thing. It says, have a super fantastic sparkling day. She sent me this last month. You know where it hasn't left? My desk, right? So I want you to think about the impact of if you send somebody a gift in the mail, it doesn't have to be super expensive, but the feel that it makes them have is like, oh, she remembers me. Oh, this business remembers me. This HVAC business remembers me. HVAC is another one, heating, ventilating, air conditioning, right? So they do heating and air conditioning, 2 different seasons. If they sell somebody a heater and then don't talk to them again until next winter, they're going to skip an entire cycle where they may be able to sell somebody an air conditioner, right? Pool cleaning and pool servicing, right? I'm just going to use Arizona as a great example because my mom has a pool down there. During the summertime, when everybody leaves Arizona, they don't have their pools cleaned. I mean, they do, but not service as much as they do in the winter when they're all there, right? Up in Washington State in the Pacific Northwest, the people that have pools, they don't use them 10 months out of the year. So if a pool cleaning service only is in touch with them for the 2 or 3 months that it's sunny and warm up there, they're just assuming they're going to get back on a contract in 9 months. Well, younger, hipper, cooler pool service cleaning company comes in and starts marketing to these people, say in October, and from October to May, they're sending them a postcard just letting them know they're there. They're sending them a text message. Maybe they send them a box of brownies. Maybe they send them, a nice pen with their name on it because they've budgeted for retention and new prospects coming into the equation, it's massive. Okay, so with that, you guys, that is my sort of little presentation on how to never lose a customer, find the lifetime value of your customer, put a budget together based on that lifetime value of that customer, right? And then divide that per month to give you a rough idea, and then sketch it out in terms of what you can do. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop the recording, and we're going to go in time. We're going to go into Q&A, and we'll end up seeing where we go with that. So again, if you are just joining us for the first time, super thrilled that you're here. Come join us on expandthebusinessweekly.com. Get a weekly reminder, as well as just the event to join us live every week. So, coolio. I'll see you guys next time.